Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for August the 28th, 2020, and a crazy ending to this week's Smackdown. One of the biggest cliffhangers in a very long time from WWE, but I will get to that later. As you guys know, if you've been watching the live streams, we stick to the topic, hashtag stick to the topic. So I appreciate your comments and your super chats, but we're going to go through the show from start to finish. Thank you to watching, or thank you to everybody for watching, whether it's in the chat room, watching live, or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support. Let's get started. We kicked off SmackDown with a graphic in tribute to a legendary figure in wrestling history, Bullet Bob Armstrong. He was the father of 4 kids. All of them became wrestlers. One of them, of course, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, Brian Armstrong. Definitely a sad loss for the wrestling world. We had a recap of SummerSlam. And then we had Scrap Iron Adam Pearce with security backstage. Vince McMahon was in the house, and Pearce wanted to make sure that everything was under control. Retribution would not be a problem. The contract signing would go well. Pearce went into Vince's office, wanted to shake hands. Vince was not about that. Vince had a mission. Vince handed the contract to Pearce, and he wanted Pearce to get all of the autographs, all of the signatures for Payback, the triple threat match, Roman Reigns, The Fiend, and Braun Strowman, before the night was over. And he wanted Pearce to go get The Fiend's autograph first. Pearce was a little bit nervous about this, and then Vince said, well, maybe you could go to Bray Wyatt instead. Whatever Pearce was going to do, Vince did not want him to fail. And as Kurapika07 mentions in the chat room, something different with the contract signing. I liked how WWE did this with the contract signing. Instead of doing the typical segment in the ring, they actually made a show-long storyline out of it, which I thought was really creative and a good way to bump up the viewership. So whoever came up with this to do this as a show-long storyline, I like it. I like the show-long storylines. I like changing things up with the contract signing. So thumbs up. No letter grade down this time. We had Jeff Hardy come out for a promo, and he said he was ready to defend his championship. But before he could say anything else, we had AJ Styles come out to the ringside area and said that Hardy is not a conquering hero. He's a liar, and he's a cheat. And he said that Hardy went to the doctor to get an illegal object put around his knee. According to Styles, Hardy knew exactly what he was doing. And Hardy knows how to buck the system. AJ said he was not medically cleared, and it's all Jeff Hardy's fault. Hardy said he was going to open an issue challenge to anybody except AJ Styles. AJ was pissed off about this. Hardy took a shot at AJ, and then we had a commercial break. When we came back, it was the artist, Shinsuke Nakamura, accepting the challenge. We had AJ Styles on commentary. Shin went after the bad knee of Jeff. Cesaro did a picture-in-picture promo during the match, said that Shin gave him no heads up. Shin is more impulsive and less ambitious. Or actually, he said that Shin has more impulse, but that doesn't make him more ambitious than Cesaro. Hardy made his comeback and was struggling a bit with his knee. He ended up throwing shin onto AJ Styles, who was doing commentary. When we came back from another commercial, Jeff sidestepped the Kinshasa, and then Jeff hit the twist of fate, followed by the Swanton to score the 1-2-3 victory. AJ on commentary thought that Hardy cheated once again. And then as Jeff was heading to the back, all of a sudden, Sami Zayn made his return. First time on WWE television since WrestleMania, when he defeated Daniel Bryan in the Intercontinental Championship match. Of course, he did not appear after that due to apparent COVID-19 precautions, did not want to attend shows during the pandemic, although now the WWE is at the Amway Center. They're doing the bigger venue, no fans, no PC people around ringside. I guess Sami felt that it was time to come back. TJS with a $2 super chat says, why did Thunderdome cause Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn to return more space? That would be my guess. That was what was being reported on, speculated on, that moving to the larger venue, you'd have people that were sitting on the sidelines feeling safer. And keep in mind also that when the pandemic started, WWE was not doing actual COVID testing. They were doing the temperature checks and just the basic screening. But a couple months ago, WWE started doing the full COVID testing, and then, of course, moving to the bigger venue, eliminating the trainees at ringside. And I think that that's what ultimately led to the returns of the big dog and Sami Zayn. Anyways, Sami had his version of the Intercontinental title, and there was a face-off between him and Jeff. Sami kicked Hardy in the face, called him a fraud, and then backstage he said he's doing what he's been doing all along, righting the wrongs. He said both Hardy and Styles are fraudulent champions, and he was asked why did he leave. He said he had valid reasons why he was gone, but he was not going to tell anybody those reasons. I guess he cannot actually flat out say he felt unsafe about coming to work. Ken terminated by DQ with a $5 super chat says, sorry Rift, the chat is going to shame me, but Bullet Bob Armstrong is such an underrated patriarch. R.I.P. Bob Armstrong and Kamala. I agree with you. Bob Armstrong, big name in his day and a big part of wrestling history with the Armstrong family. They're not quite as well known to most modern day fans as the Hart Foundation or the Harts, I should say, or the Funks, but still a big wrestling family considering the accomplishments of several members in the family, and of course most notably the Road Dogg. We had the Rambling Rabbit shining up the Universal Championship, and then we had a Firefly Funhouse segment with Bray Wyatt held up his championship. The doorbell rang, and it was Postman Pierce. Adam Pierce dressed in a U.S. Postal Service outfit. And Bray wanted to know, why does he need to sign it? And Pierce was like, well, there's kind of a connection between Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. And Bray stopped busting his balls, said he would sign. And as he signed, he said he gets to sign a couple of death warrants at the pay-per-view. I'm really happy to see Adam Pierce getting some significant TV time. For those of you, I think I mentioned this video clip before. If you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. Adam Pierce versus Frankie Kazarian versus Christopher Daniels from MPW in 2001. I was at that show. I was actually filming at ringside for that show, and I actually got to film a promo with Adam Pierce. And this was like 2001. I was like 18 years old at the time. And I just remember like he cut a really good promo, and he's a guy that I was always very high on back then, you know, just barely out of high school. So it's really cool to see him doing well in WWE and actually getting to have some TV time. Yeah, I'm really happy for Adam Pearce. Scrap iron. Great guy, and glad to see him getting to be part of the show now, not just behind the scenes, but on camera as well. And speaking of guys I want to see more of, where was our man, Joseph Park? He wasn't on this week's show, and that made me a sad panda. TJS with a $2 super chat. He says, in my opinion, The Fiend should be referred to as It, not He. Well, if they start calling him It, then maybe they're going to have a copyright issue with Stephen King. Who knows? We had a recap of the Matt Riddle and King Corbin storyline, and then Matt Riddle came to the ring, cut a promo, basically called out King Corbin. After the commercial, Corbin did come out, but then Shorty G, who I guess is back to being a heel, attacked Riddle from behind, and Corbin said he was accepting the challenge on the behalf of Shorty G. We had a match here which was basically a squash. Shorty G fell victim to Matt Riddle and the Bro Derek, whatever his finisher is called. And then after the match, Corbin tried to sneak attack, but it did not work. And he retreated to the back. And backstage, Corbin said he will prove Riddle does not belong this Sunday at Payback. So it is official for Payback. Matt Riddle one-on-one with King Corbin. We mentioned that match in our predictions video. Check it out if you haven't already, even though it is slightly dated, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Mike B with the $2 super chat says, Adam Pearce for SmackDown GM. I'm down with that. If it means we get Adam Pearce in even a bigger role, why not? I mean, I like the authority figure, and he's already doing stuff on television. I say go for it. We had a clip from Talking Smack last week, which I did not watch. I did see this clip, though, several days ago, with The Miz and Big E. And then we saw a clip of Miz, Morrison, and Sheamus confronting Big E, and then Big E had some backup and heavy machinery. That set up the tag team 6-man main event for this show. And then we had Sasha Banks and Bayley. They have not missed a SmackDown since the pandemic began. Every single SmackDown, Sasha and Bayley have shown up. The streak continues. Anyways, Sasha made fun of heavy machinery as a bunch of clowns playing with their meat. And then Sasha and Bayley came to the ring. There was a recap of SummerSlam. They talked about, Bayley talked about how it was a difficult week in their career. But luckily for them, they are the greatest tag team of all time. And Bayley said it was her fault for what happened with Sasha losing her title, because Bayley should not have let Sasha challenge Asuka for the title in the first place. Bayley said she should have known that Sasha could not successfully defend the title. Ooh, a little low blow there. And then another dig at Sasha, who was wearing these cow pants. Sasha was wearing these pants, and Bayley said, it's time for us to move forward, and said that they are stronger together as a team, and they're in this together. Sasha responded by saying, luckily, they are still best friends despite everything. And this led to Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax appearing on the big screen. They were basically saying they hate each other, but they hate Sasha and Bayley even more. And Sasha said that one bad week is not going to hold them back. And Sasha said she will get her vengeance at Payback. I guess if she doesn't, there's going to be Armageddon. Maybe there'll be some backlash again, even though we already had some backlash earlier this year. Judgment Day is coming for Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler as far as Sasha's concerned. How many more WWE pay-per-view references can I think of? It's too late for me to think of more, so I'm done with that. We had Scrap Iron Adam Pearce knocking on the door of Roman Reigns. Nobody answered. Drew Gulak was looking for Strowman, and then he found Strowman, and he hit Strowman in the back with a chair and then handed the chair over to Pearce, taking a page out of Eddie Guerrero's playbook. Strowman, of course, was in no mood for shenanigans, and Strowman signed the contract when Pearce explained what Gulak did, and Strowman said he wants Gulak in the ring. So we had Gulak one-on-one with Strowman, and basically Strowman squashed poor Gulak. He was in his street clothes, and after he won, he signed the contract for Sunday. 2 of the 3 now confirmed. Then we had Cesaro backstage saying he needs Shinsuke Nakamura in his corner for the match with Kalisto, and that's when Sami Zayn came in. The trio reunited, and it feels so good. Sami was being classic obnoxious Sami, and Shin was like, hey dude, it's been 4 months, no phone calls. What's up with that? He didn't use Hurricane Helms' line, but he was upset. His friend did not contact him. And Sami said he was just trying to give them some space, of course. And he put his championship, his fake Intercontinental title next to the tag titles, the Champions Lounge. And Cesaro was like, we're having a private conversation here. You need to go. And Sami said, you know what? He has a lot of stuff to do. He couldn't really stay, and he took his leave. This was great. I'm so happy that Sami's back. Very entertaining stuff here. We had the Lucha House Party talking backstage, and Kalisto asked the 2 of them to stay backstage. We had this match with Kalisto and Cesaro. Shin got on the apron, of course, interfering. And the other Lucha House Party guys, they went back on their word. They ran down to the ring to try and stop Shin, but that just provided more of a distraction. And Cesaro rolled up Kalisto to score the victory. After the match, more words exchanged between the house party, and Kalisto just kind of tried to cool everybody off and took his leave. I really don't care about Lucha House Party breaking up. Like, they're doing this storyline, and I'm like, dude, I don't really care about the Lucha House Party. If they break up, no biggie to me. It's not like it's one of the all-time great factions in wrestling history breaking up. It's not like the Shield breaking up. I mean, come on now. And then we had Adam Pearce backstage with old Vinnie Mac. And he was looking old. Vince just looks so friggin' old. I know he's like 75 now or 74. What did he just turn? He had his birthday. It's either 74 or 75. Might have been 75. He looks really old. Like, his face looks like it's melting. And when Vince talks, like, he slurs his speech. I could not even write down what he said because he slurs so much now, and it's hard to figure out what he's saying. Like, you need a translator or something. But basically, Vince, I got the gist of it. Vince wants 3 signatures, and he told Adam to go back and continue knocking on Roman's door. Maybe Adam needs to knock on the door and pick a fight with Roman in order to get him to answer. Who knows? We had Nikki Cross backstage chatting it up with Tamina. Nikki had her Alexa coffee cup, and Tamina was asking, what's going on with Alexa? And just like that, Alexa popped in, happy-go-lucky. She gave a hug to Nikki, but then Nikki made the mistake of bringing up the Fiend, and all these traumatic memories started triggering in Alexa's mind. She freaked out. She grabbed the cup and threw it to the ground, broke it. Bad move, Nikki. Bad move. I do like the storyline so far, but I was almost hoping we would get to see a complete makeover from Alexa. Maybe we still will. Maybe she will go to the dark side and start wearing a mask or scary makeup or something. Like, I think Alexa should really go in this dark comic villain-like fashion. I mean, she's already patterned herself after that one character. What's her name? Harley Quinn or something? Forgive me, folks. I'm not the biggest comic book guy, but you know who I'm talking about if you get the reference. Yeah, Harley Quinn. They should totally go in that direction with Alexa. Give her like the scary makeup and just make her this comic book-like character. Totally make her over. So we had Adam Pearce with Roman Reigns. Finally, Roman answered the door, and Roman grabbed the contract, and instead of signing it like some random jabroni, he actually started reading the contract carefully. Hey, Roman's no dummy. We had Sheamus backstage talking strategy with Miz and Morrison. Morrison's strategy was they're not going to let any of the other guys tag in, right? And Sheamus was just thinking this was completely stupid and said, just follow his lead. We had Heavy Machinery and Big E versus Sheamus, Miz, and Morrison. Sheamus rang the bell during the match to try and throw off the good guys, and after the commercial, there was some dissension between Miz and Sheamus. Sheamus ended up walking off, leaving the match. Morrison got hit with the Caterpillar. Miz came in with the skull-crushing finale to Otis, but then Big E came in, the legal man, hit the big ending, got some payback on the Miz for what happened on Talking Smack. And then we had the final segment of the show. Roman Reigns signed the contract, said he guarantees to win at Payback. He will be there. He will be the new champion. He will reclaim the title that he never lost. And that is not just a prediction. That is a spoiler. And I was like, interesting line there. We all know who he's referencing. And just before I could finish my thought, they pan over and Paul Heyman is sitting next to Roman Reigns. What just happened? Crazy ass ending to Smackdown. Is Roman a heel for real? What's going on here? Or is Roman Reigns just going to be a badass with Paul Heyman representing him? I was not expecting this. Huge, shocking ending to the show. I'm definitely intrigued now. If the goal was to get me excited for Payback, this did it for sure. Now, will there be some kind of swerve? That I don't know, but I am very intrigued. And Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says, I was physically shaking. This is money and ratings. The game is on 100 with the $2 super chat says, it's about damn time for Reigns to be with Paul Heyman. I always wanted to see Paul Heyman with a younger guy, but hey, you could do this with Roman, and Brock comes back and says, what are you doing, Paul? You're aligning yourself with my enemy. Like, they could definitely do something like that, and I hope they do. I hope this leads to Brock coming back and him and Heyman being on the outs. Like, they could totally do that storyline, and it would work. Nando says the Samoan Badass is going to be a killer. Really, really a lot of interesting possibilities this could go. So let's go ahead and do a letter grade for SmackDown. Let me know what you guys thought about the show. I enjoyed it for the most part. Due to the ending and Sami Zayn returning, I'm going to give it a solid B. Good show. There were some parts of the show that kind of didn't do much for me, but there were a lot of memorable moments. And TJS with a $2 super chat says, will Roman Reigns on Paul, will RR on Paul after winning never needed you? I guess he meant will Roman Reigns turn on Paul Heyman? Don't know, but that's part of the intrigue now about Sunday. Like, or is it possible that Heyman is actually working for Strowman? See, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Heyman is double-crossing Reigns. I just can't imagine WWE going full-blown Reigns heel turn without fans. Like, how can you do that? I guess if you're desperate enough for ratings, maybe, but I could see this being a swerve where Strowman actually got Heyman to work for him. And Hoof-Hearted with a $5 super chat says, how on earth do you think they talked Vince into a Roman heel turn? They must have some dirt on Vince. Again, I would love to see a Roman heel turn, but we got to see how this plays out. This could just be a tease and nothing more, and it's some kind of swerve. Who knows? But that's the thing. It's intriguing. It's got people talking. Will WWE have a strong follow-up on it, or will it be something lame? I guess we'll find out soon enough at Payback. Very intriguing triple threat match. Zach gives it a B+. Bradley gives it a B. Ace and his familiar vlogs with an A-. CC Drink with a B+. Kev with a B. Michael Wayne with a B+. Mike B with an A-. Cena Sucks 76 with an A-. And Terry says A for that ending. No retribution on this show, which probably I should bump up the letter grade, quite frankly. And a couple of super chats here and non-wrestling related. Tony H says, sorry, Aaron, off topic, but rest in peace. Black Panther, Chad Brosnan, 43 years old from cancer. Too damn sad. Very sorry to hear that. With that being said, I've never seen that movie. Some people are going to be like, what? Never saw the movie, and I'm not sure if I have ever seen him in any movies. So not really familiar with the name, but apparently he's very popular. Ken Terminated by DQ with a $5 super chat says, was this as shocking as the Hogan's turn or the Austin turn circa WrestleMania 17? By the way, RIP to Chadwick Brosnan. So much for the Black Panther sequel. I would not say this was as shocking as that. Again, without a crowd, it's hard to really have that kind of impact. But imagine if we had a crowd, how shocking that would have been. Like, the crowd would have just the biggest what reaction, and then you cut to all the shots. Like, it would have been nuts. But I got to see how this all plays out with it before I can really comment any further. Like, it was a big ending. Not to steal a line from Big E, but it was very intriguing, to say the least. And Tony H with a $2 super chat says, so was this a valid excuse for Roman to win on Sunday? Well, I'm not sure people will complain as much if it is, in fact, a legitimate heel turn. But I hate to say it, but I'll believe it when I see it. I still wonder if this is some kind of swerve and Reigns is not really going heel, and there's going to be some kind of revelation that either Reigns was using Heyman, which seems a bit weird, or Heyman was acting like a babyface manager for Reigns, and then it turns out that Heyman was actually working for Strowman. But yeah, thumbs up for SmackDown this week. And stay tuned. I believe we're doing the No DQ review Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. And then Sunday, Of course, we got Payback, and that will be quite the show, I'm sure. Tune in for the post-Payback live results recap. I'll be back for that. We got a lot of content coming up with live streams, and of course, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. Take care, everybody. Have a great night, and I will see you all next time.